Well, I just don't know. How in the heck do you make a video when the news cycle is so crazy? I mean, I hadn't made a video in a while. I have not given one of my essays, one of my expositions that I want to talk about. And here I am. Poor me. I want to talk about something today, and I don't know, man. There's like political upheaval as I speak. I mean, breaking news. Will Rod Rosenstein be fired? Will he resign? Are we going to have a constitutional crisis? There's so much going on right now, but here I go. I'm going to try anyway. Here on this very busy news day, I want to talk about one of the greatest radio shows of all time, made by Radio Hall of Famer Ira Glass. It's called This American Life. Probably heard of it. I think it's one of the most downloaded podcasts ever. And one of the greatest shows ever. Some of the best radio I've ever listened to is from This American Life. And what I want to explain today is I can't listen to that show anymore. I'm not offended by it, but I just can't listen to it. And I want to explain why. Well, let me just begin by saying that it's painful for me. I don't know if it's painful, but it makes me curious. That's the word I want. I'm not in pain. I'm curious. Why is it that I can't listen to a radio show that's one of the greatest radio shows of all time? Honestly, my most riveting radio experience was about 2012. There was a storyteller named Mike Daisey. He went to Shenzhen, China, looked at the Apple iPhone factories, and he reported a lot of human rights violations. And he did a monologue on This American Life, and they did fact checks, and they said, you better be clear on all this, man. You better be truthful, because we don't mess around here at This American Life. Well, and Mike Daisey said, oh yeah, I've been truthful. So it turns out that he fudged the truth. He made up a bunch of stuff, and Ira Glass, of course, was not happy. Ira Glass brought him back on the radio for an interview, a little post-mortem interview. Man, I was just riveted as Ira Glass interrogated Mike Daisey. And Mike Daisey was so mealy-mouthed, so full of quibbling and prevarications and massaging the truth. It was disgusting. It was an unctuous experience. I was just riveted. I'll never forget that. And I have very fond memories of This American Life. I remember back in 2000, it was around there, there was a guy telling a story on This American Life about working in a mental institution. And he eventually just got crushed. His soul was crushed. And he went home and he just wept himself. He just cried. He wept into sleep. He was just crushed. And I enjoyed it. I think we all did. We all enjoyed being sad. And as I look back on This American Life, that's kind of the essence of This American Life. It was like going to the church of sadness. You want to be sad every Sunday? You can listen to This American Life. It used to be on KCRW here, I think on Sunday mornings here in Los Angeles. Now it's KPCC at different times. I don't listen to it anymore. But there was a time when I loved going into the sadness. It was like going to church. We could all be sad together. All of us NPR listeners could wear our moleskin athletic wear. We could drink our lattes and be really sad for these misfits, these unfairly persecuted heroes, just these broken souls who would go on This American Life every week. I mean, great. Some of the stories are just amazing. Con men and misfits and broken souls. It was really an edgy thing, and we could all be sad together, and we could congratulate ourselves on how sensitive we were and how much empathy we had. It was like going to church. You know, NPR on a broader scale is kind of like going to church for the secular left. Are you the secular left, McMahon? No. I have independent thoughts. I don't drink Kool-Aid for any side. I tend to be somewhat agnostic, though I don't think religion will ever die, because we have innately, we have a desire to be better than the way we tend to be materialistically. But that's a long story. I digress. But I really enjoyed the sadness. I call it Sadness Church. And lots of people love, and that's what, and so This American Life gave you what you wanted. And I, at a point in my life, this is going to be it. This is going to be my church every Sunday, This American Life. And then I quit. What the heck happened, McMahon? You quit listening to it. And so that's what I want to answer today. There were some things that happened. Number one, the show got imitated. It's almost like a victim of its success. It got so imitated. This narration interrupted with sad piano or violin music, interrupted with interviews of the principal characters, and you go back to the narration. And this has been imitated quite a bit. It's not really my format. The format feels tired to me. It feels worn out. What adds to the sort of worn out feeling is the voices of the This American Life narrators. It doesn't matter if they're men, women, old, young. The voices all sound the same. Why is that? The cadence of speech, the rhythm. It's almost like people have been auditioning for This American Life for their entire existence, and they're all kind of clones of one another. Even their point of view, their plaintive voices, the melancholy voices, it sort of drones on and on. You got the violin music and the piano music, the cadence of speech. And there may be diversity of voices, but once it goes through the This American Life production team, it's like going through a wash machine. You got like this highly starched shirt. Or it reminds me of a Dr. Seuss story, the Sneetches. These dudes walk into a machine because their bellies don't have a star on them and they want privilege, and they walk out of the machine and everyone has a star on their belly. Everyone's a clone of themselves, like the Sneetches. There was a sameness to the narrators, and there was like this, the sadness no longer felt authentic to me. It probably is, but it didn't feel that way. It felt calculated. I call it sadness porn, where you just rub the listener's face in sadness. It's kind of like the opposite of Facebook, which is happiness porn. You know, you show people on your boat cruise, you're eating a crab louie, and boy, people want to be like you. And yeah, so I became disenchanted, man. You got the sadness porn, you got the droning, same clone voices. You got McMahon being disenchanted with the Church of Sadness, and then you've got all these imitators. The other thing that happened was competition. About 10 years ago, I started listening to Mark Maron's WTF podcast, which is not a narration. It's just some dude talking to someone, and it's like a real conversation. It doesn't feel calculated to me. And I feel the same way about my other favorite podcasts, Slate, Culture Gabfest, Slate Political Gabfest. It's just smart people talking. When I watch a television show called, oh come on McMahon, it's the media show with, dude, Meet the Press. Come on McMahon, it's called Meet the Press. I like the forum where you got like 4 or 5 people talking at a table. I like real-time conversations because it feels real, feels spontaneous. And people might say something that you don't expect, and that I like. And so the magic of This American Life is gone. I don't want to go to the Church of Sadness anymore. I probably don't have the time or energy for it. I no longer feel seduced by it. I like the other shows that I mentioned, and it's a shame because I think that show's a Hall of Fame show. I acknowledge it. It's just one of those things. To give you a comparison, I like Elvis Costello now, and I listen to him more than I used to. When I was younger, my buddies who listened to Elvis Costello, they were really cool hipster dudes. And I appreciated Elvis Costello on a certain level because I could see his brilliance and his intellect. And so I would force myself to listen to it just to be cool. But I didn't really like it, and I wonder if it's similar to This American Life. I know that it's good, but it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. Having said that, though, I actually enjoy Elvis Costello now. So who knows, man? Maybe someday I will like This American Life again. I doubt it. I'm just done with that highly polished, highly curated narrative. I'm done with This American Life, and I admit that it's a Hall of Fame show. All right, I'm going to go back and watch cable news. This is a crazy news day, and I'm trying not to be crazy. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm out.